Happy New Year, everybody. Now, the question here actually gave me a tough time, and I actually wondered, why would God ask us to pray if He already knew our needs? And I came up with this. Now, prayer is a means of communication with God, a time when you can express yourself to God, and He in turn communicates back to you. In my understanding, every relationship requires communication. I have heard that communication is the lifeline of relationships. And so, if we say we have a relationship with God, we must communicate with Him. We must be able to express ourselves to Him. Otherwise, the relationship will not be healthy. Prayer is also a commandment. In Luke 18, verse 1, it says that men ought always to pray and not to faint. Also in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, the Bible says we should pray without ceasing. So it's a commandment. I would also like to add that even though God knows our needs before we ask, He wants us to express it to Him in prayer so that when we receive answers to our desires, we will return all the glory to Him who answered. John 16:24 says, "Hitherto ye have asked nothing in my name. Ask and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full." Mark 11:24 says, "Therefore I say unto you, that what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Dr. Wilson said prayer is a spiritual exercise. And the question is, how can we incorporate prayer into our daily life? Now, Dr. Wilson said prayer is a spiritual exercise. And just like the physical exercise, you build it gradually. You don't just start praying 2 hours at a stretch. The first time you try to pray, you may start with something like 30 minutes. Then you gradually increase it until you get to 2 hours, and then you can even surpass 2 hours. So it's a gradual process. It doesn't just You don't just imbibe it at once. And get it, when you get it right, it becomes something you can't do without. Now I have a testimony. I've seen God answer my prayers, a lot of them. However, I'd like to just share one of my testimonies. I was born in a family of 4 girls, although we lost the first one. So out of 3 of us, I was the last to get married. Now the first girl got married, and she had 3 boys. Second girl got married, and she also had 3 boys. Then when I started having my babies, I had my first child, and it was a boy. I began to think that I was towing the same lane with them, and perhaps my I will also have boys like they also had. So somehow my second baby delayed coming, and it gave me a little bit of concern. I visited doctors, and they gave their verdicts. And the last doctor wanted to open me up, but I stopped there. So I decided to take it to God, and I began to pray fervently for my second baby. I prayed with my husband. We'll set aside times, midnight. We will set aside midnights and we'll pray, desiring. We prayed persistently for this baby girl, and for the baby. And being that we were praying, I took advantage of the prayer and decided to ask God exactly what I wanted. I wanted a baby girl. And so I prayed, I described how I wanted her to look like, and you know, that was it. And so one day I attended a church service, and I still poured my heart out to God about my desire for my baby. And from that church service, I had peace. I had so much peace of mind. I just knew inside of me that I just knew it. I just experienced this kind of peace, and I was so certain. I began to see more of what God had done in my life than my needs. That was where my joy was radiating from. I saw more of what God was doing in my life than my needs of a baby girl. So I was happy. I was no more anxious like before when I would be visiting doctors and everything. So, so after the service, a month passed. Everything was normal. As a woman, you will see your flow. Then the month after that, something happened. I didn't see my flow. Wow. I went for a check and I was confirmed pregnant. So that was not just the testimony. The pregnancy grew and grew and grew, and at the time I went for scan, it was the baby girl. When I gave birth, the baby girl was exactly what I had asked God for, and I was so excited. And so that's my testimony. Thank you.